Let's start, though, with the epic battle in Knoxville.
The kick on the way, and that kick is knuckling toward the upright, and it's good! Just gets over the upright. Chase McGrath wins the game for Tennessee. And here they come. Everybody sharing in the celebration. The student section mobbing the field. They're mobbing Chase McGrath. Joy and jubilation as the Tennessee Volunteers have beaten the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Oh, what a scene it was in Knoxville. And I tweeted very quickly after that from the plane, Knoxville doesn't stand a chance tonight. And that was absolutely the case. What a scene. What a scene. First of all, it was an epic game. And you know how I am. I don't like to just go back and rehash the game. But that was a terrific game. Back and forth. Terrific quarterback play from both guys. Bryce Young for Alabama, Hendon Hooker for Tennessee. There were, bad calls and there's a whole uproar of, well, this official said that, and that there were plays made. There were plays that weren't made. There were fumbles. There were defensive scores. It was everything that you wanted. And then at the end, some of the plays and throws that Hooker made to get Chase McGrath into field goal range, that was sensational stuff. Lots of thoughts to get into on this. This is one of those games that it's multiple tiers of analysis as you peel away from the game, as we get just a little bit of distance from that game. I think that we can start to see it a little bit clearer. And so let's just start to break it down. Okay. Let's start with Tennessee. Tennessee, you're ahead of schedule. Tennessee, now granted, I picked Tennessee to win the game going in because of the matchup. And I said it was a bad matchup for Alabama, and that's exactly what played out. Hendon Hooker in that passing game was a bad matchup for Alabama. I knew that based off of the first quarter against Texas, in which Quinn Ewers, really in his first important football in over 2 years, kind of took it to the Tide and certainly had them on their heels. And I thought to myself, boy, this guy for Tennessee, Hendon Hooker, he is going to be able to do the same thing, and he did. And the passing game was absolutely tremendous. His performance is going to put him directly in the Heisman Trophy conversation. I don't know if it puts him in the lead or not in the lead. And, the Ohio State fans are going to be mad because they think Stroud is blah, blah, blah. The guy is firmly in the middle of the Heisman Trophy race, which as a Tennessee fan is exactly what you wanted to begin the year, is that you thought this guy was really good. And guess what? He is as advertised. I thought he was absolutely tremendous. Some of the throws he made down the field, those are big league throws. He's playing himself right into that, that first round of the NFL draft, the top end of the first round of that NFL draft. And, 567 yards of total offense and 385 through the air with 5 tutties is going to put you right in that conversation for the Heisman Trophy. But you already knew that, right? That's nothing special. You knew that Tennessee's offense was special. I don't think you knew quite how special it was because they hadn't been tested to the degree that the Bama defense would test them. I thought that Bama defense was going to put up a lot more of a fight than they did. They didn't. Again, 567. That's a lot of yards. A lot of yards. Let's put it this way. Tennessee was averaging a little under 550 yards per game, and they were right up there, top 2 offenses in college football, and their average actually went up after playing Alabama. That just tells you the level that they played at in this game. And I do want to give them their due in terms of that. Josh Heupel has this team playing as good as anybody on the offensive side. I have said on this show countless times Ohio State is the best offense in the country. I still believe that because I still think they're a little bit more balanced. But Tennessee is right there. Right there. That ain't a big margin between the two. And that is a huge compliment to Tennessee because you know exactly how I feel about Stroud and those Buckeyes on the offensive side. Now, where does that leave Tennessee as far as the future goes this season? Does that win put you in the Ole Miss A&M category or in the Auburn, Georgia category? Well, what are those two categories, Joel? Well, those are the categories of, do you just upset them and then have the one epic night and that doesn't really do anything for a title chance for you, like an Ole Miss or an A&M? Or is it more in the vein of when Auburn beats them, they go on and play for the SEC title, and they went on and have won national championships and played for national championships? Georgia, clearly, they beat Alabama and win a national championship in the national title game. Those are things that are lofty championship goals, okay? So the question that Tennessee fans are going to have after Saturday night is, our team ready to win a championship? Now, you might be thinking, boy, it's happening quick under Josh Heupel, and it is. And with this offense, they're playing championship-level football. The problem is that it's not being reciprocated on the other side of the ball. I don't see this team as a championship team this year, except for one caveat, which I'll get to in a moment. But the bottom line is that we've seen this style of team, frankly, over and over and over again in college football over the last few years. We've seen Oklahoma do this under Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray. We're seeing USC try it right now. We've seen Ohio State try this, by the way. Great offense, not great on defense. Really, if you look at the last 4 years, 5 years for Ohio State, the only really good defense that they had was 2019. That's a year that I thought they had legitimate title chances. They ended up losing to Clemson in the playoff in an epic game against Trevor Lawrence. The other years, though, they just didn't have the defense to go and win a championship. That was proven out even in a national championship game against Alabama when Devontae Smith and Mac Jones and those guys ran all over them. Tennessee is in that vein right now. I don't see them as having title aspirations this year. Now, you might say I'm crazy because of Hendon Hooker, and I'll get to that in a moment. But the bottom line is that this team is 47th in the country in scoring defense. They are 104th in total defense, and that's not even the worst one. They're 129th in pass defense. Yikes. That means you're really good, but I don't think they're championship quality. This is still a team that's going to have to beat they're going to have to go 2-0 against Georgia and then probably Bama again. I don't see that. And the reason is, as great as Saturday was for Tennessee, this is still the same team that was in an overtime game with Pitt. And Pitt was playing their backup quarterback who was hobbled. And by the way, let the last minute on the clock go to 0 in a tie game and not even try to kick a field goal late in order to win it. They were just fine with overtime, and that was a very poor decision. This is a Tennessee team that has played 2 really close games at home in league. And I get it, right? The SEC is hard, but they were outgained by Florida, and Florida had more first downs than them in a 5-point win. They were just outgained, not by much, but outgained by Alabama, and Bama had more first downs than them in a 3-point win. I believe that type of football is unsustainable. You can ask any of those Oklahoma quarterbacks that tried to win a championship this way, whether it was Baker Mayfield or Kyler Murray or Jalen Hurts. Quite frankly, and I know they've played a little bit better defense than OU did, but Ohio State's been trying this over the last couple of years. And what did Ryan Day have to do? He had to go out and make a change on the defensive side and bring in a new defensive coordinator and fix that side of the ball to try to bring a championship to Columbus. So that's why I don't think it's sustainable at that top end for Tennessee, except for one caveat. And I've saved this, and that caveat is, if Hendon Hooker just goes absolutely berserk and carries them to a championship and goes to a level that we've seen from maybe like a Joe Burrow in 2019, well, then maybe they can do it. Maybe they can do it if Hendon Hooker turns into Superman. And by the way, judging by what he did against Bama on Saturday, maybe that's in the cards. So there's a chance. There's not no chance for Tennessee. Even a Tennessee fan, as great as Saturday was, in the back of your mind, trying to go 2-0 against Georgia on the road in Athens, against Bama in now a neutral site, most likely, in that SEC championship game in order to get to the playoff, in order to go, and then having to beat a team like, let's say, even Ohio State in the playoff with a defense that's better than that and an offense that probably can match you. I just don't think it's sustainable the way that they're playing. That was an epic game, and I don't want to take anything away from it. But as far as the future goes, their championship aspirations for this year, I would mute those expectations. As good as it was, I think that they're muted, unless Hendon Hooker goes absolutely berserk.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoy that clip, make sure you click subscribe somewhere down here. From game highlights to exclusive interviews and rankings, we've got everything you need as a college football fan right here, College Football on Fox.